Hello everyone, my name is Varun Mitra and welcome to the video. In this particular lesson, we are going to talk about installing Dispatcher on Iis. After completing this training, you should be able to explain how to install Dispatcher on Iis. So let's get started and install Dispatcher on Iis. So what I have done is I've started my AEM publish server. I've also started an author server, and I'm going to configure Iis on a Windows 2008 server machine. On a Windows 2008 server machine, it is much easier to work with different administrative tools like Internet Information Server or your Iis server. In here, you can launch up the Iis server. If you do not already have installed it at your end, you might want to get in touch with your IT team. They would be able to help you out with it. So this is my Internet Information Service or my Iis server. In here, you will get different options. You will get an option to create an application pool and different websites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a website over here. Before doing that, what I will quickly do is I will download the dispatcher installation files. You can download the dispatcher installation files using the very same URL that you used for downloading them for an Apache web server. You can download these files and you can put them in the scripts directory. Iis server creates an initpub directory within which the different scripts can be maintained. It is not necessary for you to put your scripts in a folder called as scripts. You can put it in any folder of your choice. The important thing is to perform the mapping. So these are the different files that you can use for configuring your dispatcher on Apache. First is your DLL module. This is same as the one that you receive for Apache. However, this is the one that you will use for configuring dispatcher on an Iis server. Then you have got disp_iis.ini file. This is the dispatcher configuration file, quite similar to httpd.conf file. I'm going to quickly open this up. As you can see, this file contains different information or different variables which have been initialized. So over here, I mentioned the script path. So the scripts path is pointing to the DLL file that I placed within my scripts folder. If you have placed your scripts in a different folder, this is the place where you should do the required change. Then I have also got the configuration path, which is pointing to dispatcher.ne. Once again, if the scripts folder name is something different or it is located at a different path, this is where you should do the change. I've set the log level as well to 3. I've set the server variables as 0, replace authorization to 0, decline route to 0, and also I've specified the log file path right over here. This log level is not required as I've already mentioned the log level at the top. So I can do or quickly remove the log level from here and I can save my changes. The dispatcher.ne still looks very much the same. It is the same file that you can use or that you would have used with your Apache web server. However, you need to do a quick change over here. Since I'm on a remote machine, I might want to point to my local AEM server. So this is what a typical installation would look like. Usually your dispatcher will reside at a remote machine and you are going to have your AEM server running on a different machine and you are going to connect them with the help of an actual IP address and a port number. So this particular setup right over here depicts an actual AEM setup in an actual AEM environment. So I have got the host name over here which points to my local machine. I've also specified the port number. This actually points to a published server that is running on my own machine. Rest of the settings remain the same. However, for doc root, I'm going to specify a new path. So this is the doc root path. This is the path where my caching would be done, or this is the path where my cache file would be stored. So let me quickly go ahead and create this particular folder within my initpub directory. So I will go back to my initpub and I'm going to create a folder over here. I'm going to call this folder or give this folder the same name that I mentioned in my doc root directive. Now this is the folder that I have created. What I will do next is I will go to the Internet Information Service Manager or Iis Manager and I will create a new website over here. I will create a website and I'm going to call it simply aem62 training. You can call it or give it whatever name you like. The next thing which I will do is I will map it to a physical path. The path where the actual caching would be done or the path where this website will maintain its data. So I will map it to aem6.2 training. I will click on OK and click on OK again. It will ask me if I want to bind this to port number 80 and I will click on yes. So this is my aem6.2 training website. I'm going to click on it. Now there are a couple of things which you need to do over here. First and foremost, you need to add a virtual directory. I'm going to simply call it scripts. This virtual directory will map to the scripts folder that I have got. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and map it to the scripts folder within my initpub directory. And I'm going to quickly click on OK. Once I've done this mapping, I'm going to go to authentication and verify if anonymous authentication is set to enabled. If it is set to disabled, you might want to enable it manually. This is the very first change that you need to do. The second change which you need to do is you need to create a handler mapping. Just click on handler mappings, go to add wildcard script map, leave the request path as such, and now over here choose dis_iis.dll. This is the executable file, and you can give it whatever name you like. I'm going to simply call it dispatcher. Click on OK and click on yes once again. Now at this point, your IIS configuration has been done. If you were to restart your website, you should be able to access your AEM server. However, based on your administrative rights that have been assigned to you, you might still have to do some small changes. For example, the change that you might have to do is you might have to go to the AEM 6.2 training folder within the initpub directory. Right click on this and you might have to give permissions to the IIS user. Now scroll down over here and look for the IIS user. If you do not find him over here, that means that your user does not have permissions. So you will have to go ahead and manually add a user over here. Click on edit, click on add, and over here you will have to manually add a user. Now keep this in mind. In order to do these changes, you will need to have administrative right over this machine. If you do not have administrative rights, you might want to get in touch with your IT team to help you out with this. So I'm going to add an IIS user that goes by the name of default app pool, and this user belongs to IIS app pool user group. I'm going to add this particular user over here and click on check names. This should resolve to default app pool user. I can click on OK, and I'm going to give him full control. I'm going to quickly click on apply, click on OK, OK once more, and this should give this user access over this particular directory. Since we have done some changes within our IIS configuration, so I'm going to quickly go ahead and restart my website, and then I'm going to go ahead and restart my IIS server. Once I have done this, I can open up the dispatcher.log to view whatever changes or whatever files that are being accessed at that particular moment. I'm now going to go to my AEM server. So this is my AEM server, and I can try to access this using the IP that belongs to my virtual machine. So my virtual machine is hosted on this particular IP address, and my IIS server is right now running on port number 80. So I can directly go to this URL and I can try to access my IIS server. My IIS server points to my local AEM publisher that is running on my laptop. So I should be able to see the Geometrix website rendered over here. At this point, you can also go back to your dispatcher.log and you can try to see if there are any error messages or if there are any information messages that are being logged over here. So this is how you can configure IIS server to run your dispatcher module. Now you should be able to explain how to install dispatcher on IIS. Thank you very much for watching this video and have a great day.